Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the December 2013 graduating class of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. Please be seated. Presiding over today's exercises, Philip Merrill College of Journalism's Dean, Lucy Douglas.
Graduates of the class of December 2013, honored guests, faculty and staff, parents and friends. Welcome to the Philip Merrill College of Journalism commencement ceremony. We are proud to honor our journalism graduates, the women and men who have completed the requirements for degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Arts in Journalism, Master of Journalism, and Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. First, let me introduce you to the members of the platform party. Will they please stand as their names are called and remain standing until everyone has been introduced? And please hold your applause until I have completed the introductions. Associate Professor Dr. Eric Zanuck, Associate Professor Dr. John Newhagen, Jing Guo, a doctoral candidate, Associate Dean and Professor Dr. Ira Chenoy, Doctoral Candidate Raymond McCaffrey, Professor Emerita Dr. Maureen Beasley, Doctoral Candidate Kevin Swift, Director of Internships and Career Development, Adrienne Flynn. Director of our Capital News Service, Washington Bureau, and Director of Master's Programs, Rafael Lorente. Associate Dean, Director of Undergraduate Programs, and Equity Officer, Olive Reed. And Benjamin Barr, today's student speaker. Continuing on to the second row, Sean Mussenden, Director of our Capital News Service Online Bureau and one of today's faculty marshals. Director of Assessments and Graduate Multimedia Certificate Program, Christine Harvey. Able Professor in Baltimore Journalism, Sandra Beniski. Professor Carl Sessions Stepp. Professor of the Practice, Dr. Carol Rogers. Acting Assistant Dean for External Relations, Frank Quine. Director of the Hubert H. Humphrey Program, Sarap Rada. Director of Computer Services, Clint Bucco. Scott Green, the website coordinator for the Shirley Povich Center for Sports Journalism. Broadcast lecturer, Cassandra Clayton. Assistant Professor, Dr. Ron Yaros. CNS Annapolis Bureau Chief, Jackie Ingalingo. and Director of our Capital News Service Broadcast Bureau, Sue Kopen-Katzeff. And finally, Bethany Swain, lecturer and today's second faculty marshal. And serving as our commencement announcer is Taylor Cairns. Please be seated. Well, on this very festive holiday season, I think we can all agree today is a day for celebration. Today, our graduates celebrate that their years of hard work have paid off. Their parents, friends, and family have brought flowers, cards, maybe some money, and many good wishes as they watch you walk across this stage. Our faculty members are celebrating their accomplishments in preparing you for the wild ride that will be your future as journalists. Our undergraduates in particular have seen many changes in their 4 or more years at Philip Merrill College. You broke in the beautiful Knight Hall and helped us discover what a phenomenal place it is to study journalism. This year's seniors took our new class on the business of media and helped us launch the new American Journalism Review. I'll never forget sticking my head into room 3707 the day before our launch in November and feeling the electric charge. When I asked if you were ready, I thought a couple of you were literally going to jump out of your chairs with excitement. Your teachers and advisors are so proud of you. They know you very well and they care about you very much. What you may not realize is that when one of you wins a contest or lands a job or an internship, they shoot out emails and brag about your success. They will follow your careers for many years to come. Over the past 18 months, Merrill College unexpectedly lost 3 beloved faculty members. Our undergraduates certainly remember Interim Associate Dean Penny Fuchs. The broadcasters were taught and mentored by Dr. Lee Thornton. And many of our seniors and graduate students lovingly recall Knight Professor Haynes Johnson. You will be lucky in life if you ever again find such champions as those faculty members. Their loving guidance will live in you forever. One of the privileges of being dean is every once in a while you get something really, really cool over the transom. And on Thursday, I received the loveliest note from graduating master's student Josh Birch. He's landed a job in a North Carolina television station, and Josh has given me permission to read part of it today. This is what he had to say. As an undergraduate, I always knew I wanted to become a journalist. However, somewhere along the way, I decided maybe teaching was the career path for me. I remember during my sophomore year, I took Journalism 175 with Susan Muller. That class reaffirmed that I had already known for quite some time I was meant to be a journalist. By the time I knew exactly what I wanted to do, it was too late to enroll in Merrill and graduate on time. That's important to parents, by the way, graduating on time. Therefore, I sought journalism internships and hoped to learn the things I was missing from the classroom there. When I started my graduate degree, I couldn't have known what was in store for me or how much I would learn from my professors and fellow students. Merrill was the first college I had ever been where I felt the professors actually cared about their students and their successes following school. I had the honor of having professors like Bethany Swain, George Solomon, Mark Feldstein, Sue Kopen-Katzeff, and Diana Huffman, who made me grow not only as a journalist, but also as a person. Along with the amazing students that I was surrounded with, I began to excel in journalism and accomplish things I never could have imagined that I would. I am well aware of the struggles you and others within the school have had during the past 2 years with the passing of several critical members to the college. However, because of people like you and Ira Chinoy, the college continued to excel and produce some of the best future journalists in the world. I have heard several potential students ask what makes Maryland different from other schools. Before I experienced it myself, I wouldn't have been able to answer it. However, now, after only a year and a half in the school, I know why Merrill is better than any other journalism school in the country. Without Merrill, I would never have been able to land a TV reporting job in North Carolina in a top 100 market right out of school. I want to thank you for all of your hard work to ensure the students at Merrill grow not only as journalists, but also as people. I wish you the best of luck, and will forever remember Maryland and the Merrill College of Journalism. And we'll forever remember you too, Josh, along with all of your classmates. And now on to the main event. Would you please join me in welcoming Dr. Eric Zanet to the podium? Today, we are celebrating the career of a longtime valued colleague, Dr. Eric Zanet. Dr. Zanet joined the faculty of Philip Merrill College of Journalism in 1979, and he has taught thousands of University of Maryland students from many disciplines about issues related to advertising and the media. This is his last commencement because he plans to retire at the end of the school year after a well-deserved sabbatical. Dr. Zanet earned his PhD from the University of Illinois, and in addition to teaching and conducting research at 3 major research universities, his professional experience includes work in public information for public television and stints in 2 of the nation's largest advertising agencies. His research interests focus on the regulation of false and deceptive advertising. He has co-edited a book, authored chapters and monographs, written numerous articles, and delivered many academic papers on many advertising topics. And we are particularly grateful to Dr. Eric Zanet for the many hundreds of hours he has spent representing the college on campus-wide committees, including the Faculty Senate and the very important research committee that supervises research on human subjects. We are sad to see him leave us, but he will always be part of the Merrill College family. And please join me in thanking Dr. Eric Zanet for his many contributions to the University of Maryland. Would you like to say thank you?
Yes, I've attended a very large number of these commencement ceremonies over 3 decades. As this last one was coming up today, I was reminiscing about all of those years and the things that I've done. To summarize in very few words, it's been a real good gig, and I would do it again. Thank you.
Dr. John Newhagen, Dr. Ira Chenoy, Dr. Maureen Beasley, and Adrian Flynn will assist Dean Douglas in presenting today's doctoral degree candidates. We will begin with Dr. Newhagen.
Xing Guo has successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism, Journalism Studies. As our advisor, I would like to say a few words about Xing and her research. Xing, would you please step forward? Excuse me. Xing, would you please step forward? Thank you. Doing a social science project in a journalism unit is kind of like chewing gum and clapping hands at the same time. And that's what she did. Jing is, her brilliance is almost blinding. Her competency in both Mandarin Chinese and English is flawless. And she brings an enormous amount of poise to this experience. It's my understanding that there are some religions that teach that it is the teacher or the mentor or the giver who should consider the act as a privilege and not as an obligation. And I can honestly say that working with Jing, that I took away a lot more than she got from me.
Thank you, Dr. Newhagen, for the very nice and moving words. I also would like to say a few words about myself and the research in the past 4 years. To be honest, I think right now I need someone to poke me because that will make me realize this is not a dream. Today, standing here speaking to all of you and receiving the degree I have worked day and night for, I feel that it's indeed a dream come true. Before I started the program, I have to confess that I had done some research about what people in a doctoral program think about doing a PhD. Some people said that PhD stands for potential heavy drinkers, while others said that it is short for permanent head damage. I'm glad that today I'm still sane and sober standing here. I came up with my own version of a PhD, which is a pretty huge deal. I say this not because I'm complacent, but because earning a PhD involves efforts, commitment, and generosity of so many people. Today I'm standing here to receive the degree, but this degree would not have been possible without the gracious support from many individuals. First of all, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to Dr. John Newhagen, who is my advisor, who encouraged me to pursue my research interest, the effects of culture on information processing of news images and texts. Together, we found that culture significantly affects how we process information at a psychological level, and subsequently affects how we remember, interpret, assess news articles published online. Dr. John Newhagen's infectious enthusiasm and commitment to quality and rigor has been a major force keeping me focused, productive, and on track. I'm also very grateful for other members of my dissertation committee. Some of them are here today. Dr. Ira Chinoy, Dr. Ron Yaros, Dr. Kalyani Chada, Dr. Shaoli Nan from Communication for their continuous support and guidance throughout my dissertation research. Your discussions, ideas, feedback have been absolutely invaluable. Your knowledge and experience not only broadened the scope of my research, but also motivated me to continue learning during and beyond my doctoral studies. Doing a PhD is a tough but transformative journey. Over the past 4 years at the Merrill College, I have received care and support from many other professors. They are Dr. Maureen Beasley, Dr. Kathy McAdams, Dr. Linda Steiner, Dr. Susan Moeller, the beloved Dr. Lee Thornton, just to name a few. I undoubtedly could not have been here without all your support. In the end, I would like especially thank my amazing family, my parents who came from China, and my fiancé for their unconditional love and constant encouragement. My parents were not able to go to college due to the decade-long Cultural Revolution in China. So their biggest dream was to have me go to college and achieve my goals freely. And today, knowing that I've surpassed their goals, sorry. I didn't expect that. Okay, today I know I've surpassed their expectation and I've made them proud. It's probably the best reward for all the hard work. And I'm very sorry. Okay. Thank you very much. It's all the best reward for all the hard work and more than 1,000 days of sleep deprivation. I could never have been where I am with a degree and a job in hand without all of you. Thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
The one thing I forgot to add is that the job in hand is a full-time research position with the World Bank.
No, it's just, I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and am honored to welcome Jing Guo to the growing ranks of students from the Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this, or indeed any university.
Dr. Chenoy will now present his doctoral degree candidate.
Raymond McCaffrey has successfully completed all the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies. As his advisor, I'd like to say a few words about Ray and his research. Ray, would you come forward? Ray McCaffrey entered the PhD program here at Merrill College as a seasoned journalist with more than 25 years of experience. This included 8 years as a writer and editor at the Washington Post. His career also included work as a reporter, columnist, and writing coach at the Colorado Springs Gazette. Somewhere in that very busy career as a journalist, he also managed to get himself a master's degree in clinical psychology, and he wrote a thesis about mental illness among the homeless, which was a subject that he had covered extensively as a journalist. When it came time for him, and by the way, while he was here, he was more than just a student. He was also a teacher. He taught courses in the practice, ethics, and history of journalism, turning around his experience and his new gained knowledge right away. When it came time for Ray to choose a topic for his dissertation, he picked a topic that sat at the intersection of his interests in journalism, psychology, and history. And what he did is he explored the factors in a sad pattern for those journalists who put themselves in harm's way without having access to help them deal with some of the more horrific things that they witness as part of their mission to tell the rest of us citizens what is going on in the dark and dangerous corners of the world. The result is what I believe to be a very important and very timely dissertation titled Tributes to Fallen Journalists, the Evolution of the Hero Myth in Journalistic Practice. And Ray will tell you a little bit more about it.
Thank you. I have prepared remarks, and that's a good thing when you have a doctoral student in front of you. That means I won't bore you for an hour and a half. I'll just bore you a little. First of all, I just want to thank, obviously, Professor Chenoy, Professor Beasley, who is a member of my committee, Professor Chadha and Feldstein, who are not here today. I also wanted to just mention Penny and Lee, who helped out in immeasurable ways. I want to thank Jing. If I learned one thing in my years here at Maryland, it was never, ever follow Jing when you're presenting. And here I am once again. How did that happen? The only thing I contributed to Jing's education is teaching her all the English words she didn't learn in China, and they're not good ones. So, also, one other person who may or may not be in the room, unless she had a crisis with a patient, is Dr. Laura Anderson. I always travel with my own psychologist for obvious reasons, and thank you if you're here. So my research interests involved exploring the mental health risks faced by journalists and the mythology that motivates them to take on the dangerous assignments that they take on. The dissertation was an analysis of newspaper tributes to journalists who have died in the line of duty. And this was an historical case study. And it involved an analysis of New York Times tributes to U.S. journalists whose names appear on the Journalist Memorial, which is down at the museum, which I'm sure a lot of the graduates have found the time to visit in their time here at Maryland. And so the analysis of the Times tributes to the fallen journalists that dated back to the mid-1800s shows an evolving hero myth, just as classic mythic tales that explicitly link core journalism values with risk-taking qualities like courage and stoic virtues that discourage reporters and photographers from acknowledging the psychological impact of their work. The heroic fallen journalist in these stories was most typically one who died on foreign assignment, covering war. My analysis suggested that this hero mythology is a relatively new phenomenon. It developed in the 1920s, just along the time when journalism ethics codes were developing, journalism schools were opening up and growing in this country. And I contended that the perpetuation of this mythology actually has continued unabated. And even at a time when we're more and more questioning whether the macho code of journalism is what we need today, when we know that journalists are now seeking treatment from mental health risks like post-traumatic stress disorder. The value of this study is that hopefully it will serve as a prescriptive for the news industry and for future generations of reporters, perhaps some of whom are here today. These tributes are really, truly inspirational, and I don't think most of us would agree that a lot of these journalists, if not all of them, are heroes. That's not the point. The point is that young journalists, old journalists, recovering journalists need not follow their legends literally. The study argues that those in the news industry need to show one of the paramount virtues of the classic hero, and this would be the Knights of the Round Table or whatever hero myth we're talking about, and that is compassion. My argument is that the newsrooms and the news industry need to have leaders who show this compassion to journalists when they go off on assignment to make sure that they don't take unnecessary risks, and also, more importantly, to be there when they return. Thank you.
It is my privilege to present Raymond McCaffrey before Dean Dalglish and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with the doctoral hood, displaying Maryland's academic colors and the edge of blue, reflecting his earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Dalglish, in accordance with the recommendation of the examining committee, the journalism graduate faculty, and the graduate council, I request that you recognize Mr. McCaffrey for his accomplishments and welcome him to the honorable company of learned women and men.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation, and I'm honored to welcome Raymond McCaffrey to the growing ranks of students of the Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Dr. Beasley will now present her doctoral degree candidate.
Kevin Swift has successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism and Public Communication. As his advisor, I would like to say a few words about Kevin and his research. But before I do that, I want to congratulate all of the graduates. I want to congratulate their families, and particularly, of course, the PhD candidates, including Kevin. So would you please come forward, Ken? Getting a PhD, as you have heard, is no easy achievement by any means. Those of you familiar with the complicated instructions given by the University of Maryland Graduate School as to how the dissertation should be submitted will testify that I'm correct in making that statement. It is not easy. Particularly, it's not easy to get a PhD when you have arduous work in teaching, as Kevin Swift has had. Today marks the end of a long road for Kevin, punctuated by years of extremely successful teaching of broadcast journalism at the university level while pursuing his PhD. After establishing himself as a respected news broadcaster on television in the Pittsburgh area, Kevin entered our program and rapidly rose in our teaching ranks here, making a name for himself as an excellent instructor of television production. Kevin then left us to teach at Missouri State University in Springfield, Missouri, where he is now a senior lecturer. He has charge of a news program broadcast widely over the whole state, including the metropolitan areas of Kansas City and St. Louis, Ozarks News Journal, and he has won 22 awards. Of course, the awards are given to the students and to the program, but they're really Kevin's. They're a tribute to all the hours that Kevin has put in overseeing their work. At the same time, he has finished a very interesting dissertation on changes in broadcast news that he'll tell you about. Throughout this lengthy process, he's been encouraged by his wife, Kim, who is here with us today, and I would like to ask her to stand. Kim. Yeah. I personally think she deserves part of the degree. And now Kevin will tell you the highlights of his dissertation.
Okay, I'll get to the research in a minute. I want to thank some people real quick. My family for all of their support. David, you're next. The faculty and staff who have been mentors and at times co-workers. My amazing dissertation committee of Doctors Maureen Beasley, Lee Thornton, Ronald Yaros, Kalyani Chadha, and Andrew Wolven. I've been blessed to have many great women in my life, and I'd like to thank some of them today. My wife, Kimberly, who was truly there every step of the way. To quote Brian Wilson, God only knows what I'd be without you. My mother, Shirley, who always stressed education. Dr. Beasley, who stepped in and chaired the committee at a very difficult time. I'm standing here in this fancy robe, but I'm humble, knowing that there is no way I'm here today without Dr. Beasley, so thank you very much. And finally, to my friend, mentor, and as we often joked, my all-time #1 consigliere, Dr. Lee Thornton. I sure miss her. The dissertation was titled, we changed it after this publication, so the printing. So it's called The Changing Landscape of Television News at a Time of Deregulation, a case study of practitioners in 3 major markets. The point was to step out of the many economic studies of ownership changes, consolidation, and corporate expansion, and see how those changes affected practitioners of local broadcast television news. They had been left out largely. The results among veteran broadcast news practitioners were consistent and quite revealing. Far too many to discuss here in the few minutes that I have, but I encourage you to Google it, and you can read the entire thing, hundreds of pages. Well, I'm sure you're excited. The overarching point of conducting the research was successful, that being that it is not okay to leave practitioners like those created here at the Philip Merrill College of Journalism out of the discussion when major changes take place in the news industry. They must be included in some way at some point, or the research is simply not complete. They are, after all, what makes the news industry work, and they're the ones responsible for delivering the truth to the public in a professional, ethical, and responsible way. More research needs to be done in this area, but hopefully this study will open some eyes and encourage other researchers to look beyond the numbers and give practitioners the voice they deserve. Thank you.
It is my privilege to present Kevin Swift before Dean Daglish and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with the doctoral hood, displaying Maryland's academic colors, and the edge of blue reflecting his earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Daglish, in accordance with the recommendations of his examining committee, the journalism graduate faculty, and the Graduate Council, I request that you recognize Mr. Swift for his accomplishments and welcome him to the honorable company of learned men and women.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and am honored to welcome Kevin Swift to the growing ranks of students of the Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree offered by this university.
Raphael Lorente and Adrian Flynn will now present the master's degree candidates. Each candidate will receive a lithograph, and congratulations from Dean Daglish.
Will those candidates who are here to receive master's degrees from the Philip Merrill College of Journalism please rise and approach the stage? In accordance with the recommendation of the faculty of the college, please recognize these candidates who have successfully completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Journalism and Master of Arts in Journalism. Jack Spear. Kate Andrews. Natalie Cornix. Sydney Morgan Paul. Lauren Laricchio. Lucy Victoria Zena Westcott. Emily Eastman. Leslie Faith Spacek. Jason Tyler Reuter. Josh Birch.
Graduates, please be seated. Associate Dean Olive Reed and Chris Harvey will now present the undergraduate degree candidates to receive lithographs, and congratulations.
Will all undergraduate degree candidates please rise and approach the stage to receive lithograph and our congratulations. In accordance with the recommendation of the faculty of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism, please recognize those candidates who believe they are here to receive their degrees of Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. Let's go ready. Benjamin T. Barr. Eric Glenn Meany. Benjamin James Oldak. Melissa Keeley Lagarde. Aaron Bernard Watkins. Nahal Tiffany Matajian. Julianne J. Pelusi. Adam Thomas Goodykunst. Marlena Lynn Chertok. Aviva J. Wolf. Brittany N. Senna. Hei Rian Chung. Andrew Darren Emmer. Jonathan Prezant. Congratulations. Michelle L. Cole. Judy S. Nam. Darlene J. Reyes. And Brandon Levy Goldner.
Let us all congratulate today's graduates. Okay, everyone can sit down. It is an ancient university tradition to give an outstanding graduate, selected by our undergraduate students, the opportunity to address the commencement assembly on behalf of fellow students. This year, they have selected Benjamin Barr to represent them. Benjamin Barr is a senior broadcast journalism major who can't wait to start a career in sports journalism. He covered and broadcasted Maryland sports throughout his career at WMUC Sports, Maryland's student-run sports radio station. He also served as co-sports director and external affairs director during his tenure. In addition, he broadcast with Terps TV and Maryland's men's ice hockey club. Ben interned for WTOP 106.7 The Fan, NBC4, and Comcast Sportsnet Philadelphia. He has covered the Capitals, Wizards, Nationals, and Orioles for WTOP. As an intern at 106.7 The Fan, he researched statistics and screened calls for the Holden and Danny talk show. At NBC4, he did some anchoring and produced highlights. He also logged highlights and covered the Philadelphia Union for Comcast Sportsnet Philadelphia. Ben currently produces and screens calls for game broadcasts on Federal News Radio. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Benjamin Barr.
Thank you, Dean Dalglish. Wow. Here I am to give the Merrill College student commencement speech at the Gildenhorn Recital Hall. You know, it's funny because I was actually playing a band concert in Deckelbaum the other week, and I went to pick up my complimentary ticket, and they told me the acoustics were so much better on the balcony, so I guess I'll mostly be speaking to those of you that can hear me from up there, but I digress. It's an honor to be chosen to speak at today's ceremony. Ron Burgundy told me it was kind of a big deal. Before I got to do this, I had to send a copy of my speech to Chris Harvey for approval on Tuesday. Like any of my fellow journalism graduates, I found myself scrambling to meet a deadline. But looking back, I don't really understand why I got so stressed out about it, because this isn't even the speech I gave her anyway, so. I'm sorry, Chris. I just didn't want to spoil it for you. And I'm sure that my fellow graduates that have been binging on Netflix movies and TV series for the past week can tell you that no one likes a spoiler alert. And thank you, fellow graduates and faculty, for choosing me for a rare public speaking opportunity where I'm confident there will be no chance of getting heckled at all. There have been so many people that have helped me get to where I am today. My mom and dad and my sister Alicia are here today, as well as my grandparents. You have all taught me to work hard and do my best in whatever I set out to do. You've also taught me how to be a good person to everyone I meet. To my friends here at Maryland and in Pennsylvania, I'm grateful to have all of you in my life. I can always count on you to have a great time and support me in whatever I'm trying to accomplish. We've had a blast, and I look forward to continuing great times. To everyone back home, I've tried my best, my very best, telling as many people as I can that I'm from Lancaster County, but everyone still says Lancaster, so please forgive me. I'd like to thank my teachers and mentors that I've met throughout my college career at Maryland. I've learned many professional and life lessons from you as I take this first step into my sports journalism career. When I chose the Merrill College, I thought that it would give me the best chance to be successful in this great competitive field that my fellow graduates and I are all jumping into. I believe the education that I would get here and the places I could intern near the college were second to none. As I spent 3.5 years here, I can say the Merrill College proved all of my reasoning for choosing it as the place to pursue higher education. We've all had these great opportunities, and I love hearing what my classmates and fellow graduates have been able to accomplish here. Another special thank you goes out to the Merrill College Undergraduate Advising Office. Without you, I would have no clue how to set myself up to graduate on time, much less a semester early. How can I stick around for a master's degree when I can't even fill out a 4-year plan by myself? We're graduating into an industry where reporting the facts is most important, and that is certainly one of them. Another thank you goes out to Josh Fendrick, Chad Sinclair, and Brendan Ponton, the last 3 Merrill College student commencement speakers. Without watching your speeches, I wouldn't know what on earth to even talk about up here. But one thing that I have learned that I should mention to you is some kind of transcendent life lesson that I've learned in my time here that I can pass on to all of you. Something really profound. Something greater than just telling you to allow yourself at least an hour to sign out the right cam with the right firewire to ingest on the right computer in the news bubble before your whole project gets lost for some reason that God only knows. Print majors, just be thankful you probably only know what I'm talking about by hearing from a distraught classmate taking 361. Sources confirm that ignorance is bliss. As budding journalists, let's face it, we aren't going to be making the big bucks out of the gate. I would love to see any one of us on the ABC Evening News tomorrow. Always shoot for the moon, but I don't think Barbara Walters is slowing down anytime soon. I'm sorry. No, what is going to drive us to be great when we leave college is going to be our passion. We've all worked hard in the past few years to get to where we are here today. Our accomplishments that we've made here are stepping stones to achieving our career dreams. That's what they are, stepping stones. Today marks an end to an awesome chapter in our lives, but today is only the beginning of our potential. We will succeed with our desire to be the best that we can be wherever life takes us, whether it's in journalism or not. The Merrill College has helped us in so many ways to be ready for the great journey our careers will take us on. From days in Journalism 181 and 201, where I would have gotten an F for ending my last sentence with a preposition, to when we finally didn't have to complain about our registration date shutting us out of Kevin Blackstone's class, or the unbreakable friendship bond that is working in CNS. Our years in journalism school have gotten us ready for the future. All we have to do is seize it. Congratulations to all of you on this special day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you for that lovely speech. And here is a commemoration of your experience as the student speaker. Congratulations.
Thank you.
While all students work hard to earn their degrees, there are a few who deserve special recognition because of their accomplishments. In your program, you will find the names of this year's award recipients, as recommended by members of our faculty.
Sue Kopin-Katzif will recognize our top broadcast news student for this commencement.
Will Brandon Goldner please come forward? I first met Brandon when he visited the Merrill College of Journalism the very day we held our dedication ceremony for Knight Hall. Brandon, at the time, as I understood it, was still deciding where he wanted to attend college. I can still picture the conversation that we had in the back of the Eaton Theater. I believe your dad was there too, discussing all the benefits of coming to Maryland. I like to think that he chose very wisely. Brandon, though, really got his start long before coming to College Park. He cut his teeth on the broadcast side of news during his high school years in Baltimore as part of the Scripps WMAR Team Perspective program. That selective opportunity put him both in front of and behind the camera at Channel 2 in Baltimore. And Brandon wasted no time in putting that experience to work here at the Merrill College. As soon as he got to campus, he signed on as one of our Capitol News Service Broadcast Bureau studio production team volunteers. Those volunteers get our show, Maryland Newsline, on the air. Brandon's experience and talent propelled him into the director's seat before his freshman school year was over. It is a rare accomplishment for someone in our program who's not yet taken on any of our essential broadcast production courses. And Brandon has remained an essential player ever since. In fact, he was the director of the Maryland Newsline programs that were awarded student Emmys in back-to-back years. I also drafted Brandon a couple of times to help us out with a reporting crunch in our bureau, even before he joined our CNS bureau this fall. That was made possible, in part, because of the additional experience Brandon gained during a paid, let me emphasize, a paid, on-air summer internship in, yes, Fargo, North Dakota. Not a bad place to be, though. You should understand that there are very few paid broadcast internships, let alone internships that allow students to go on the air. That kind of experience is simply invaluable, and typical of Brandon, he went in search of that opportunity, and he made it happen. That was also the case with an internship at NBC's Meet the Press that he had during his sophomore year. Those internships are generally reserved for upperclassmen, but again, Brandon saw it, he pursued it, he made it happen. And the same is true of this past semester when I finally, officially had Brandon as a student in the CNS Broadcast Bureau. Brandon started pitching me over the summer on stories that he wanted to work on. He believes in getting an early start. He hit the ground running and turned out some terrific work throughout the course of the semester. But Brandon did not stop there. He took several of his most compelling stories and turned them into text versions. We used to call them print stories, which were picked up not just locally, and they were, but as far away as the Sacramento Bee in California, which was pretty cool. Along the way, Brandon has earned additional honors as well, and they include some very competitive scholarships from the Washington, D.C. Sigma Delta Chi Foundation, the Radio Television Digital News Association, and the Chesapeake Associated Press Broadcasters Association, where he was the very first sophomore ever selected to win that scholarship. I'm on the board, and I pushed for sophomores. Brandon was the very first. And there are his extracurricular activities, but I'll just mention one. The Maryland Student Chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists, or as we call it, SPJ. I am the faculty advisor to the chapter, and Brandon has been a leader since the moment he stepped foot on campus. He held office in the chapter almost from the first time he joined, and that includes having served as our co-president. Brandon often took the lead in setting up programs and reaching out and coordinating chapter events and helping to grow our membership. Brandon really, truly helped in turning around our chapter and making it, again, an active and vibrant organization for our Merrill students. And all of Brandon's hard work and determination paid off in a very big way just a few weeks ago. He was offered and accepted his first full-time on-air reporting job with WNCT in Greenville, North Carolina, a media general station, and in my add, together with Josh Birch, they have been hired at the same time by the same station, which I believe is the first for us. And it is no small accomplishment to do it in in a top 100 market. Brandon is truly a shining example of what we'd like all of our students to be: passionate about their profession, motivated to succeed, and willing to work hard to make it happen. Brandon, it does give me tremendous pleasure to present you with this award for Outstanding Broadcast Student.
Rafael Lorente will now recognize our top multimedia news student for this commencement.
I hate following suit. Will Eric Meany please come to the stage? So Eric is our outstanding multimedia student. Eric graduates with a cumulative grade point average of 3.864. While here, Eric has interned at Baltimore Sun. He worked for Patch. He has some history before us, working for the Library of Congress, correct? And the faculty who nominated Eric has some terrific things to say about him. They called him an outstanding student, always there, always prepared, always helpful with other students, someone they really, really enjoyed having in class. They did say he was a Yankees fan, but we ignored that. It's my honor to present Eric with the Outstanding Multimedia Student Award.
Associate Dean Ira Chinoy will now recognize this commencement's Kappa Tau Alpha awardees.
So we all hear that journalism is changing every day, all the time, and this is true, but if you're getting the idea that there are also some traditions here that honor excellence and achievement, time-honored traditions, it's really my honor to present this award today that honors that. Kappa Tau Alpha was founded in 1910 at the University of Missouri, or as Maureen would say, Missouri. It is the nationally recognized honor society for those individuals pursuing scholarship in the field of journalism. Established in 1961, the Maryland chapter has been recognizing academic excellence among its graduates for over 50 years. Each year, our chapter recognizes those students who have academically performed in an outstanding manner. The following students have responded to that recognition, and I would like to call them to the stage when I call their names and to receive their Tau Kappa Alpha certificate, and there's one other round of awards that go along with this. So not here today is Chelsea Marianne Walker, I believe, but we do have with us Jonathan Present and Darlene J. Reyes, and I would like you to come up. So the first certificates I'm going to hand out declare them to be initiates in Kappa Tau Alpha and recognize their excellence of scholarship. So Darlene, congratulations. And Jonathan.
Thank you.
And then there's one other award here, which is called the Top Scholar Award, and it goes at every commencement for the student with the highest class ranking, and this also goes to Darlene Reyes. So, well, you beat me to it. Thank you, and you can return to your seats. You've done a great job.
Professor Beniski will now recognize the commencement's Outstanding Service to the College awardee.
Each year, the Merrill College recognizes one student for outstanding service. This year's recipient is Brandon Goldner. Brandon, please come forward. You've already heard a lot from Sue Kopen-Katzef about Brandon's illustrious 4 years here at the Merrill College. In addition to all his achievements, he brought his great enthusiasm and dedication and invaluable service to the college for programs including recruitment. And for that, we are very grateful and present you with this award. Congratulations, Brandon.
Sean Mussenden will now recognize this commencement's top master's student.
Will Kate Andrews please approach the podium? And is Kate's family here somewhere? Hi, Kate's family. So Kate is the recipient of the award for the top master's student of this year's cohort, as voted on by the faculty. I had the extreme pleasure of editing Kate's work this semester in the Capital News Service College Park Bureau, the college's news operation. And I think I speak for everyone on the faculty who voted for Kate when I tell you that she is a consummate professional who we all think has a very bright future in journalism. Kate is a master of developing compelling ideas for stories and has a unique writing voice that is not often found for someone her age. She covered the science beat for CNS and produced some really interesting work that was picked up across the country. And she has a real talent for translating complex topics, scientific concepts for a lay audience. Kate interned at National Geographic while she was here, and I'm told she's considering some job opportunities either at Geographic or with Village Voice Media after she graduates. And just one other thing about Kate. It's rare that I've had a student who did such a great job of making sure everybody else in the newsroom was having just a great day and bucking them up and being overwhelmingly positive. And if you keep that up, I know you're going to have a great career. So appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. As we conclude, I'd like to take a moment to remind our graduates to always consider Merrill College and the University of Maryland a home. I hope you felt a lot of love and family here today. I kind of enjoy the December commencement because it's such a more intimate ceremony, and everybody up here kind of loosens up. You will be joining today a vast network of fellow alumni who are making names for themselves in journalism, business, law, academia, and a whole host of other occupations. We hope that you will always feel comfortable returning to the place that has helped you launch this new phase of your life. And make sure that you always keep us up to date on the great things you are doing. Use that Facebook page. Keep in touch. Let us know where you are. I want to thank all faculty and administration members for participating, to Taylor Cairns for serving again as our announcer, Sean Mussenden and Bethany Swain for serving as faculty marshals, Eric Meany and Darlene Reyes for serving as student marshals, and David Watson for coordinating the ceremony. He's a real taskmaster. Please remain, oh, that's not for me. Thank you, everyone. Oh, that's for Taylor, okay. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you and your families have a lovely holiday season.
Please remain standing during the recessional until the faculty, platform party, and students have filed out. Then follow the procession out of the theater. Thank you, have a great afternoon, and go Terps!
Here, you want to give me that?